You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy.
Department 1 of Superior Court is now in session. Judge Cash Money is presiding. Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be having a judge court of compatibilism versus fideism and separate domain. Okay, it's fine. And separate domain. Are all three sides ready?
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Jury, please stand and raise your right hand. To each of you swear they will fairly try the case before this court, and that you will return a true verdict according to this evidence and the instructions of this court. So help you God. Or any other deity or deities that you do not infringe upon other religions, please say, I do. First opening statement, and now proceed.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, through my evidence, I hope to demonstrate that the most logical argument for faith versus reason is compatibilism. Compatibilism is the only one of the three arguments that tries to create a bond between faith and reason. Instead of forging a divide between faith and reason, it tries to find the similarities between the two and incorporate both ideas to find the truths in this world. Successfully finding out more about reality means looking at and considering both faith and reason.
Second opening statement, and now proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's evident that fideism is the most logical argument for the controversy of faith and reason. Rather, faith is opposed to and superior to reason and should be trusted upon for all knowledge of the world and of the reality. Although faith requires a risk and a leap of faith, the world, and especially religion, is irrational and incomprehensible. Therefore, attempting to use reason in these situations does not work. In order to find out more about the world and reality, fideism is evidently the best argument for the controversy of faith versus reason.
Third opening statement may now proceed.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hope to defend that the most logical argument for faith versus reason is separate domain. This is the most logical argument for the debate of faith versus reason because the world itself is divided into two separate entities or domains, the spiritual and the physical. Rather than comparing two completely separate concepts, this theory recognizes them as being as different and essential as they are. In the world, these domains remain divided, however equal, and both have an impact on the knowledge of individuals.
The first argument may present their evidence to the jury.
Your Honor and ladies and gentlemen of the court, the evidence I will present to you will surely convince you that compatibilism is the superior way to view faith versus reason. There are two parts within compatibilism. The first is the divine sense theory. This theory states that faith is similar to that of perception in the sense that we use our own divine senses to realize that God does indeed exist, and therefore this theory ties the two seemingly contradictory terms, faith and reason, together. The other part of compatibilism is the rational faith theory, which I find to be the superior part of compatibilism. This states that what is grasped by faith can be supported by evidence and argument based on ordinary experience. This theory again ties faith and reason together by saying that faith and reason are two different ways to see the truth. Therefore, we need both when coming up with new ideas and seeking new horizons. For example, Thomas Edison failed many times before finally inventing a functioning light bulb. Throughout his many failures, he had to have faith that his invention was indeed possible, but he needed reason to come up with it. Therefore, you need both faith and reason, not only when coming up with mind-blowing theories and inventions, but also in your daily life.
I object.
You may proceed.
Although faith is very prevalent throughout the world, there is no legitimate need to have faith. Faith serves no purpose other than to make an attempt to explain what can actually be proven as fact through reasoning of assumed fact. Additionally, many factions of faith depend on the belief of a divine being actually existing. As so much is dependent on this belief, which cannot actually be proven, it is unrealistic to claim that faith supports reason and vice versa, as the reason given has no tangible proof.
Although I do understand where you're coming from, Hannah, I do not agree with you at all. As in the example I mentioned, faith is absolutely essential, and saying that there is no legitimate reason to have faith rejects all of the wonderful things that have come about because people had faith in their intuitions and beliefs, like I mentioned before with Thomas Edison. So, if people never went with their gut, where would we be today?
Objection overruled. Second argument may present their evidence to the jury.
There is strong evidence to support that fideism is the best argument over faith and reason, and I hope that I will convince everyone here rightly of so. It is evident that fideism has many strengths. Without fideism, our society would not be able to advance. Without fideism, everyone would be thinking the same way. However, because it is a thing, we are able to take that leap of faith and connect the dots that would otherwise be impossible to abridge. Fideism is necessary in order to connect the ideas and get closer to the truth. What may seem impossible through reason can be accepted as truth through faith and faith alone.
Object! Where do the boundaries lie? What is to stop anyone from claiming they know something solely on the basis of faith? Could I say that the earth is flat solely based on faith and have it be true? Fideism is too lenient and it doesn't give clear boundaries and therefore is not the superior argument.
While this may be true, fideism is still the best argument for faith versus reason, because faith is necessary for life. One cannot live off of merely just facts. All of the major discoveries of the world were based off of faith, and without it, our society would not be able to advance. While fideism does not give us a direction in which we should make that leap of faith, the biggest discoveries and theories accepted today are the ones in which people once disagreed greatly with. People thought it was crazy when Pythagoras claimed that the earth was round. However, this is a widely accepted belief today. While ideas may seem ridiculous and crazy at the time, fideism is what gives people the opportunity to express these thoughts.
Objection ruled. Third argument may present their evidence to the jury.
The evidence is abundant and present to prove that separate domains is the most logical argument for the debate of faith versus reason. Separate domains recognizes that one method, whether it be reason or faith, is not appropriate to all domains of inquiry, meaning that different approaches to knowledge are essential to understand the world as a whole. Additionally, by definition, the two concepts, faith and reason, are opposite and are not able to pertain to the same areas of inquiry. Faith is acceptable and necessary anytime there is a belief in something that is not able to be proven or intangible. This is necessary in large areas such as belief in a divine being, or even on a smaller scale such as faith in love or trust for another being. Alternatively, reason is also necessary in areas where faith has no place, in such as proving something through science. When a new medication is developed, one would not just have faith that it works and hope for the best. Reason through prior knowledge as well as tests is used to confirm. For these reasons, separate domains is the most logical, as it is able to recognize the two concepts as separate entities.
Objection, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
While the idea sounds incredibly convenient and simple to accept, it is also true that faith and reason overlap in certain areas. For instance, most religions make claims about the natural world. It is impossible to keep faith and reason completely separate, as a big part of religion is about the knowledge and perspective through which we view the world. Furthermore, our values, which are not necessarily reason, are not determined by religion alone. This shows that we rely on both faith and reason at certain times.
While this is true, faith doesn't pertain to only religion and is not strictly a religious concept. Faith is a concept of accepting something without reason to believe. In fact, when you start to have reason, some form of evidence or rationality, faith is no longer needed and therefore can no longer exist. Some things are essential to accept on faith. However, once any sort of rationality is introduced, it can no longer be classified as faith.
Objection ruled. After looking through all the evidence and consulting the jury, I have come to the conclusion that the argument with the most credibility is compatibilism. I have reached this conclusion because neither faith nor reason alone sufficiently encompasses the manner in which we as people understand aspects of our world. Within any observable phenomena, there is a certain amount of faith required and a certain amount of reason exercised in order to understand the concept. On these grounds, I declare compatibilism is the most logical. Court is adjourned. Compatibilism, you win.